Guess what time it is? Synthetic division time! Are you ready? Come along for the journey. Let's take a look at how to solve the following example with synthetic division. We got x raised to the fourth minus 10x cubed plus 37x squared minus 60x plus 36, and that's being divided by now x plus, no, minus. That's a minus, right? X minus 2. So how do we approach this? First thing is, look at your dividend. That's always the item to the left here of that division symbol. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at the highest power of x, you're going to add 1 to it, and that's going to tell you 4 plus 1, which is 5. That's going to tell you the number of columns you're going to need here in your synthetic division table. Okay, that lies to the inside here of that little black angled line thingamajig. After you have that in hand, what you're going to do then is you're going to make sure that you have 5 terms here in your polynomial function. And you do have 5 terms. If there wasn't a term, if there weren't 5, let's say there were 4 or 3, for example, let's say this term was missing, your x term, you might detect a pattern that you need 4, 3, 2, 1, and then none, okay? Or you could have had x to the fifth, then 4, 3, 2, 1, and then none. So if one of them is missing, you have to identify which one it would be, which one is missing, right? In this case, we would have a missing x value, and therefore you would just add in 0x. Because 0 times anything is just 0, and adding 0 to something would mean nothing, and that would then tell you the coefficient of your x term, okay, just in case the problem changes on you. So, now, just plug in your coefficients. So the coefficient of the first term is a 1, and you're going to plug it in decreasing order here in terms of the x values, okay? So the first coefficient was a 1, the next one is going to be a negative 10, next one is a positive 37, the next one is going to be a negative 60, and the last is going to be 36. Then, you're done with your dividend. Now look at your divisor. You're going to take that divisor, whatever it is, and you're going to set it equal to 0. And you're going to solve that bad boy for x. And what that's going to tell you is this number here is going to be the number you're going to put into the outside of your synthetic division table, 2. Okay? Now, after you have this top row filled out, now we can begin the simple process of the synthetic division. Take this first coefficient, drop it all the way down. That's why we have a red box here. You're not going to put anything in it. Once you have the 1 down here, you're going to take that value and multiply it by the outside value, and you're going to put its result here in this adjacent cell. So 2 times 1 is going to be 2. And then you simply add these terms on together in the column. So negative 10 plus a 2 is going to be a negative 8. Then you take this value, multiply it by that outside value, so that's a negative 16. So then all you're going to do is just add those together, right? So 37 minus a 16 is going to be a positive 21. Then you're going to take the 21, multiply it by that outside value of 2. Put its result here, so that's going to be a 42, right? Then you're going to simply add these terms together, so that should be a negative 18 now. Then you're going to take negative 18 and multiply it by 2, so that should work out to be a negative 36. Cool, and then add these together, and when you add those together, you get a 0. Now, you're not guaranteed to get a 0 here by any means, all right? So don't expect that to work out that way, but it is kind of nice when it does. Now, you have to know what these values down here mean, okay? This is your remainder. This is your constant term. This is going to be the coefficient then of your x term, coefficient of your x squared term, coefficient of your x cubed term, dot, 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 dot. Okay, however many columns you have here in your table. So there's one more thing before we finally write out our, quotient here. Because that's what you get when you take a dividend and you divide it by a divisor, you're going to get a quotient. Don't you love the vocabulary with some of this math stuff? I just want to give the person who came up with those terms a big giant hug. How about you? No, don't do that. No. Love always trumps hate. Love always trumps hate. So, what you have to do here is you want to do one quick check. You got to look at your divisor. And what you're going to do is you're going to look to find and identify the coefficient of the x term in your divisor. Now, in this problem, it is a 1. Okay? So what you would do, you'll see why it's pointless here, but what you're going to do is you divide each of these coefficient now values by the coefficient of your the coefficient of the x value in the divisor. Sorry, can't keep the term straight in my head. Now you're going to divide everything except for your remainder. Please do not divide the remainder. Okay, the remainder is going to be all by itself. Okay, it's not going to get divided by that. Okay, so obviously dividing this all by 1 doesn't really do a darn thing, so you don't have to worry about it, but you should still think about it. So again, just to put our values down here, that's the constant. This is the coefficient of your x. This is coefficient of x squared. This is coefficient of x cubed, blah, blah, blah. Now what you're going to do is you're going to write this on out, okay, in terms of your quotient. So you're going to write 1x cubed minus 8x squared. Then you're going to write plus 21x minus 18. Do not write 18c. This c represents the constant term. And then whatever your remainder is, in this case it's 0. I'm going to write it in anyway, just in case the value changes on you. But you're going to write plus, or if this were a minus, then that would have been a minus. Plus now that remainder value, whatever it is, divided by whatever your divisor is, x minus 2. So this is technically the quotient. Now I would clean it up a little bit. All right, let's cancel terms that we really don't need. So you don't need the coefficient of 1 there, so that's just x cubed minus 8x squared plus 21x minus 18, and 0 divided by anything is just 0. So you don't even have to bother writing that. So now your simplified, beautiful looking quotient here is going to be this. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If this video helped you out at all, why don't you help us spread the word? We'd love to help more people. Maybe there's some students in your class that might find these videos helpful as well. It'd be an awesome way to help us out too. And by the way, check us out because we don't have just mathematics. We have physics, chemistry, thousands of videos out there, specific problems we work on because that's what you're going to see on your test. And we teach you how to approach those problems. We want to help you do well. Check us out. We'll see you soon.